Hey y'all, it is Nicole of Awaken the Magic Within, and welcome to episode 1 of our Magical Herb series. So glad to have you here. So, I wanted to start doing a series for those who are just getting into magic or those who have been in it for a while and maybe want to learn about different herbs that they might not have known about or may not have tried. So there are going to be some on this list and in this series that are probably going to be familiar, and then there may be some that are unfamiliar, but we'll learn about them and then I'll tell you ways that you can possibly use them and we will go from there. Okay? So, the two that I am going to introduce today are what I call the red allies because they are coming from the same ruling planet, which is Mars. So the two herbs that we are working on today is going to be dragon's blood and red sandalwood. Now, I wrote my notes down because y'all know I like to ramble in these videos. So if you see me looking, it's because I wrote down my notes, okay? Okay, so the reason why they're called the Red Allies is because they are ruled by the planet Mars. So they are similar, but they are different, obviously. So we'll go over what each of them do and how you can use them. So red sandalwood gives quiet power. That's this one. It's not as bold. People use it mainly for protection, but it does way more than that. So you might hear about it being for protection, but it does way more than what people might use it for. So Mars energy means will, assertion, dominance, power, things of that nature. So red sandalwood is great to be used in domination and control work. And if you need to set boundaries and be clear about those boundaries and command your space. So that is the herb that you would reach for that. Now, dragon's blood. Dragon's blood is a resin. So it runs hot, it runs aggressive, and it runs fast. It's quick, okay? So it's an amplifier. So anytime you need to boost your workings, you'll want to add a little dragon's blood, okay? It's great for protection, great for banishing, also great for commanding work, but like I said before, it is aggressive. So where our red sandalwood is going to like be subtle and maybe a little practical, and it'll say, hey, I'm setting these firm boundaries, don't cross them. Dragon's blood is going to be a nuck if you buck. If you hear about this life, nuck if you buck. That's the energy of dragon's blood. Like, it is in your face. It is very like, don't play with me. These are my boundaries and I will shut you down. So that's those. So like I mentioned before, since they are in the same energetic family, they're ruled by Mars, which is the god or planet of war, or god of war, whatever, however you say it. Their properties tend to be similar. So again, they're both red in color. So if you are into color magic, then you know that red is all about vitality, power, just like the planet Mars, and things like that. So you can use that in your Tuesday workings. If you like to do day of the week workings, Mars is Tuesday. So you can use your dragon's blood, your red sandalwood in your workings on Tuesday for those types of properties. Okay? So like I said before, both herbs are grounding. They're also fixed, so they will anchor your work. Both can be used in domination and commanding work. The difference is their personalities. So like I've mentioned before, all plants have their own energetic frequency. Even though they might be ruled by a ruling planet that has a general overarching energy, they themselves have their own energy, okay? So red sandalwood is more about sovereignty, holding dominion, where dragon's blood is pure fire. It's pure aggression, it's pure amplification, it's very much in your face, okay? So, how can you use them? Well, you can use them in powders. Like you see, these are both in powder form. I have used red sandalwood in like its cut and sifted format. And if you don't have an herb grinder, it is hard to like grind that down. So I prefer it in the powder form. But like I said, you can get the actual herb in its cut and sifted form. You can infuse it in oils. You can put them in sachets. You can do commanding work, domination work. And when I say domination and commanding work, I'm not necessarily talking about trying to have dominion over people, but you can do that, okay? So do you magic how you want to magic. I'm usually just talking about maybe having dominion over a situation. So, for example, if you are having a hard time keeping your money under control, you can bring that under your dominion, under your control, and you can use these herbs to do so. So, again, your imagination is only the limits to what you can do with herbs and with herbal magic. So, just get involved, get your hands dirty, be creative, think about the things that you want to do with it, come up with, do inventory of what's happening in your life and how can you bring change using these herbs and what's happening in your life. So I use the example of money, but you can do it even with health. If you feel like you do not have your health under control, use these herbs and bring your health under your dominion. It'll give you some insight on ways that you can get yourself together if you're dealing with health issues. And I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, let's be smart, but you can use magic in addition to the things that we all do and use here on earth. Okay? So, can you use these combined? Yes, and you should. But no, absolutely. You can absolutely combine these two in your spell work however you want to. They are a dynamic duo. One is going to give you quiet fire, one is going to give you aggressive fire, and you might need both. Okay? So, that's it. That is all for our very first episode. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Also, let me know if you've worked with these herbs before and how you use them. And if you've never worked with them before, I encourage you to try them. You can find them at any metaphysical shop. I'm pretty sure they have them on Amazon, but I don't usually buy my herbs from Amazon. I'm just particular like that. But do what you got to do. Um, if there are any herbs that you would like to see in this series, drop a comment below and you might see it in a future episode. So, this has been episode 1 of our Magical Herb series. Don't forget to save this, share it with people who you think it will benefit, and I will catch you in the next episode. Peace.